Good morning, everybody. We are back. It is the right side of campus, and we are live here on a Friday, August 17th, 2018. I'm your host, the big man on campus here for SBR Sports and SBRForum.com. My co-host, Donnie Rightside, joins me. Donnie, how you doing?
Doing good today. Football Friday back in effect, Jeff. Couple preseason games last night. Major League Baseball heading down the backstretch. IFBC next Friday, next weekend. What? Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Should be a good one here. Let's have some fun, kick it off, and have a great show today, as usual here at sportsbookreview.com.
Hope everyone had a great Friday or Thursday evening. A lot of preseason football, some baseball, all sorts of fun stuff. How was your night, Donnie?
Yeah, it was good. Didn't have any baseball wagers. Sat back, watched a little bit of preseason game with the Eagles, maybe a quarter and a half of that game, then just shut it off. I don't get much excitement, Jeff. I'm a huge football guy. I like to see the first look at football, but even when my Eagles are playing on TV and it's a preseason, nothing matters in those games. Doesn't excite me. I don't care if the Eagles would lose 86-0 or win 86-0. I get nothing out of preseason football, man, at all.
I think with the Eagles, I think I do get a little out of, seeing what certain players are doing. There are certain position battles. And look, there are people that I want to see and that I want to see that are playing well. I want to see someone like Sidney Jones and how he looks and, stuff like that. And I think you can get a little out of that. But yeah, I mean, from a winning, losing perspective, I don't care very much. I mean, I don't care if they lose 56-7. I don't. I just want to see that no one gets hurt and certain players make kind of leaps and bounds from a development standpoint. But welcome in. Hit the like button if you're out there. Hopefully you enjoy the show. If you're on Twitter, please retweet the show. Great way to get it out to people. Maybe don't see it on a regular basis, and it will grow the show as well. Let's get into Donnie. Some morning headlines. We'll start it out in baseball. Urania gets 6 games. Tough, but warranted. Urania with a pretty Bush League move to throw at Ronald Acuna. I don't think there's really any other question. I mean, the kid's killing it. He was pissed off about it, and he, made a pretty unexpected, pathetic move. He should be suspended.
Yeah, 6 games does seem a little bit light there, but it is baseball. Nobody can prove intent unless the pitcher legitimately leaves the mound and then takes the press conference later on. They say, "Did you expect to throw at him?" Absolutely. I wanted to dot that guy right between the eyes to make sure he never hit a home run again. Then you would get the full game suspension, the full season suspension or multi-week suspension. But as long as the pitcher always has the old adage, Jeff, "Hey, man, fastball got away from me." It happens at times. They can only do so much.
But then Mets broadcaster Keith Hernandez stuck his nose in with I'm not sure what this statement is. They're killing you. You lost 3 games. He's hit 3 home runs. You have to hit him. I'm sorry. People are not going to like that. You got to hit him or at least knock him down. I mean, seriously, knock him down if you don't hit him. You never throw at anyone's head or neck, but you hit him in the back or hit him in the fanny. Is he serious, Hernandez?
Yeah, I mean, obviously playing in a much different time at that point, and guys didn't even throw it nearly on average as hard as they do today, because you can really get seriously injured. But that's just an old school. That's pretty much a dumb topic. Now, if it's talking about, I'm stepping into the plate in the batter's box, Jeff. I just hit 3 home runs the previous 3 days, and I'm literally pointing to the stands, like in the back, and telling the pitcher, groove one, and it's going deep again, and then you hit him. Okay, trash talking, maybe a little bit right, but also, Acuna doesn't stand that close to the plate. The one guy in Major League Baseball, Jeff, that I would hit every single time up at the plate, right in the ribs, is Rizzo. If you ever seen Rizzo from the Cubs bat, Jeff, he literally stands on the middle of the plate and says, "You can't throw inside." I would just dot his rib cage all day long. But there's no reason. Just because the guy hit 3 home runs to lead off 3 straight days, he's not talking any trash. He's really not pimping it out that much. I mean, hell, Odubel Herrera in Philadelphia, the times that he actually does get a base hit, flips his bat damn near into the 5th row on a single. So I don't see what he did so bad. So what, he's hitting a couple home runs. How about you leave the game off, Jeff, and strike him out and then tell him, yeah, you ain't hitting any more home runs.
Exactly. There you go. I guess you could do that. Quick piece of news here. Ken Peacock, who's in England, says Fury Wilder's on and that Fury will win. Ken, listen, I respect your commenting. I think you're a good commenter. Always enjoy you on the soccer shows. But Tyson Fury's not beating Deontay Wilder. Come on, man.
He
You
might
can't
get
be
killed.
serious with that. You can't be serious with that.
He
I mean,
might die in the ring versus Wilder, Jeff.
I don't know if he saw Tyson Fury in his last fight, but look, and I'm not really basing off that, but Deontay Wilder's on another level. I mean, Fury's slow. He's older at this point. I know he's only 30, but he looks like he's 40.
Yeah.
That's not happening. I'm willing to guarantee that one. That ain't happening. Let's move on here. Position players pitching. Donnie, I know you have a big problem with this. I don't. I don't think it. If you're a team that's down 22-4, why are you going to throw bullpen arms out there that you don't need to? I mean, you throw Scott Kingery out there for an inning. I mean, what does it really matter? You're not winning a 22-4 game. What's your comment on this?
It's just ridiculousness. And it's the only sport that allows it to happen. I mean, why not? Like I sent a tweet out yesterday, Jeff. In boxing, if you're getting your ass kicked in the corner, all you have to do is tell the ref you don't want anymore, and they stop the fight. In a football game, Jeff, where it's out of hand, what do? Hand off up the middle to run as much time as they can, or damn near take a knee just to get the game over with. It's the one sport that makes a mockery. And look, if this was always the way it was in baseball, Jeff, we would grow up with it and get used to it. We used to see a position player pitch like once a year, like once out of every 10,000 games. Now all you're seeing is almost on a nightly occurrence. What's wrong with the doubleheader yesterday that gets out of hand where Gabe Kapler can come out of the dugout in the 6th inning and say, look, we don't want any more of this action out here. And the umps go confer. All right, game's over. Mets win. Back to the dugout you go. We're going to start game 2 shortly in this instance. Why can't you just do that in baseball? Why do you have to make a mockery of it and send, position players out there who everybody's laughing, giggling, and smiling out there in the game's a 22-4 game? Just end the game. It's not a big deal. End the game right there. Final. After 6 innings, Phillies lose 20-4. We'll go to game 2.
They're not going to do that. Listen, I don't understand why you hate it so much. What's the big deal? I mean, who cares?
It
I
doesn't
mean,
make any sense. Like there's no sense to it. Like if it was the normal, like how about in golf? If you're 10 strokes back on Sunday, why don't you just let your caddy play the last 9 holes? You know what I mean? Like what are we doing here?
because you have money, you have places. Like you finish a certain place, you get a certain amount of money. I mean, I don't know. Listen, I can't answer that. I do think it's a bit more frequent nowadays. We see it a lot more, but that's just how baseball is. There's a lot of rules in baseball I don't understand, and I do think they need an overhaul rule wise. I don't understand why one league has a position or a player pitching and then they hit,
Yeah.
and then the other league they pitch and don't hit. They get an extra batter. It doesn't make sense. It's an advantage to the other league. But again, look, I think people like seeing it. I think it's funny for a lot of people. It's kind of interesting.
It used
I'll
to
tell you
be
what.
though. Yeah.
No, I'll tell you what. When I see it, anytime it's on, I want to watch it. I'm just saying. Like I thought it was funny watching Scott Kingery throw that slow ass pitch. If he were just hitting it like softball practice, I thought it was funny about that. I don't know why, but yeah, I mean, look, I mean, it does happen a lot more though. But yeah, there should be rules. There's certain rules that I don't understand about baseball either. It is a weird game for sure. Khalil Mack, Donnie, is getting to the point of no return. He's getting into the stage where he's going to have to start paying fines if he does not show up. So you look at over the next few days here, it's going to be 30K a day and then 14,000 a game. So just start adding up here a little bit, Donnie Rightside. Khalil Mack not happy with the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah, this is some old school thinking here by John Gruden. I'm the head coach. You'll play for whatever you're going to play under. And if you're not here, we're not going to negotiate. Well, look, if I'm a CEO of a company, Jeff, I'm a manager of an office. Let's go to real estate. I'm a manager of an office, just took over. My top producer is a little bit unhappy with some situations. And the first day I get in there, you know what I do, Jeff? I sit down with him and make sure he's happy and in working order because I know my office is not going to produce as well if my top producer is not working and happy there. The same thing with my defense. Hey, John Gruden, you're paid to win football games with the Oakland Raiders, correct? Your best player wants a new contract and a well-deserved new contract. So you're going to stonewall this guy and act like the day you took the job with the Raiders, you had like a quick conversation with Khalil Mack. It's been 6 months and you haven't picked up the phone and talked to your best football player on your team. Dude, it's not the 1990s anymore. It's not Chucky. It's not, I'm going to show my face on the sideline. I'm the boss. He's your best football player, you moron idiot. And it's probably the reason you're going to go down this year if you just let him lag on the sidelines and watch your defense get torched because they can't get any pressure on the quarterback. Am I missing something here with the Raiders, Jeff, and Khalil Mack, where like we're not even going to talk to you. He's the best pass rusher in football.
No. Look, he's lost the plot. Uh, Remember we heard about Donnie? He was showing like highlights from like the '80s in like practice and stuff. Like he really thinks this is like the '80s still, like or '90s. Like wake up, Gruden. For Christ's sakes. I agree. Pathetic. I mean, we saw it with other Roquan Smith. Teams being cheap. Pay the guy and move on. I mean, you need him. You need him in there.
And the
Look,
best
I
part
think the
about it, Jeff, when they say like these days, like you can't pay too much or sell. Look, I think we all know for a certain extent, maybe early on in the salary cap, if your owner is willing to spend dollars on guaranteed money and signing bonuses in the NFL, Jeff, there's no salary cap. You can bend these rules 16 ways to Sunday to get guys in there, especially for your better players. It just makes me laugh every time I see, look, we can't pay a defensive end. Why? Why can't you pay one of the third or fourth most important positions on the football field top dollar when he's going to change the game? You can't hit anybody anymore, Jeff. You know what you have to do? You have to sack the quarterback. That's how you get after
Yeah,
him.
but
And if I have the best, and he's not even 30. It's not like he's 30.
I will say I had a big problem when the Miami Dolphins gave Sue all that money. But then again, I look at the Dolphins and I thought they needed other positions to that. But I don't know that a player like this will win you a game in the final 3 minutes. But I guess maybe they would because they can get a sack
I
and
mean,
get the ball
I
back.
could see defensive tackle. Like if you look, Aaron Donald is an amazing, amazing player, Jeff. But he is a defensive tackle. The most important positions on the field, typically, that you're going to pay for. You see the big money, Jeff. What? Cornerback, defensive end, tackle on offense, left tackle and right tackle for the most part, and quarterback out there because they're the structure of the game where it's going in the past. You have to get organic pass rush on somebody to get after it. And again, he's in that strike zone. Like a lot of times if you see like an older guy, 29, 30, 31 holding out, you say he's really good, he should get it. But Khalil Mack is just one of those guys that you pay like Von Miller. Do you remember all the time they always like, look, man, we're going to get this Von Miller deal done. Both sides talk. They end up hashing it out and Von Miller plays. Like what? Come on, man. Same division. Use the script of what Denver used on Von Miller. Get it done.
Dez Bryant, the delusional guy that he is, on his way to Cleveland, and he really believes that he's just like this great receiver. I mean, dude, you had one fucking team interested in you, and it's the fucking Browns. Who, by the way, just gave up their receiver anyway. I don't understand this team. I really don't. I don't understand anything they do from an organizational standpoint. But it looks like visit went well. The cameras were rolling as he walked into the airport yesterday. I'm happy to be here, he says. Just trying to work some things out. It's a lovely place. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Sure, it's real lovely, Cleveland.
Like he had a, like what
Bryant,
do you have with Jeff? The Ravens gave him like a 3-year deal. It was like, nah, I want a show me deal. Last time I checked, Jeff, like we're in after the second week of preseason. Everybody has their formulas down. Everybody knows who's going to be playing now. What hammer does Dez Bryant hold out there where he's going to I'm just going to go on a world tour? And the best part about it is, Jeff, you head to Cleveland usually on a show me deal, 1-year deal. I want to play football. You hash it out because there's no harm, no foul for the Cleveland Browns, right? Hey, Dez, we'll give you 1 year. $4 million. We'll pump it up with incentives, to reach the 4 million, and we'll see what you got. And it didn't even work out yesterday. So who is he negotiating against right now?
I have no idea. He's an interesting character, Donnie. He walks to the beat of his own drum. But we'll know he'll go to Cleveland. I mean, he'll go and get $1 million or $2 million, and he'll add some talent to their position, but not going to do much for them. I'm interested to see it on Hard Knocks, though. Interested to see what he has up his sleeve for that. By the way, I wanted to reach out to one of our listeners, Donnie, Chris Carter. Really wanted to ask him about Jets looked great last night in preseason. By the way, you mentioned how great they were, and that we'd see how good they were. They looked really good last night, man. Just wanted to shout out to you. I know you were a big Jets fan. Yesterday on the show, you were chatting about that, Donnie, if you remember. Chris was very adamant that the Jets were a good football team. Now, I know it's preseason, but you made the comment that they would look great tonight, and watch out for the Jets. So just wanted to say I was able to check that out, and I don't know that I saw much. Let's get into MLB, Donnie.
Did they win?
No.
Did the Jets win that? It was 15-13. Who? So Washington won that game 15-13?
Yes.
All right.
Let's get into baseball here. Oh, good finish up.
Runs in Philadelphia, Jeff. Start that right off the bat there yesterday. I mean, who can stop the Mets? Double-digit runs the night before, come in the first day, pop a 20 spot on the board, and get two right in the bottom of the first of game two, Jeff. Looks like they were headed for another 20 runs, but the Phillies pulled it out. And as usual, Jeff, win that first game of I guess you win the first game of a doubleheader. You just have a couple beers in the second game and take it on the chin. Seems like that's the MO of baseball. Sweeping a doubleheader, not the easiest thing to do outside of the Braves doing it to the Marlins the other day.
The fifth inning was pathetic. 10 runs they gave up. It was I haven't seen anything like that in a long time. Ugly stuff. A lot of the runs are unearned. People missing fly balls, overthrowing. It was ugly stuff. It looked like the bad news bears in the first few games of the season. Um, Buckholz, Donnie. Clay Buckholz. Well, that a complete game. Clay Buckholz looks good, Donnie, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, his numbers are showing out. He's doing well. He's pitching in pitchers' ballparks. You get the big humidor out there he pitches in now. Then you go over to Petco against usually is an anemic offense in the Padres as is. Shuts him down, Jeff. Not only does he shut him down, he doesn't even get the curtain call in sixth or seventh inning. He says, you know what? I'm going to finish this bad boy out. Play Buckholz, Jeff. How about that, man? What a resurgence.
Yeah, he did an article. The Athletic interviewed him, and he said that when he was unemployed, Donnie, in May, his first thoughts were, "I knew I was good, but I didn't know where I would prove that." And he's been able to prove it a bit. This is his 12th start, and he's pitched. A sub-3 ERA. This guy's looking at a playoff start. Unbelievable stuff. Nice resurgence from Clay Buckholz, who a lot of people, including myself, thought was done. John Lester was impressive yesterday, and that was a low-scoring, boring affair.
Mm.
John Lester, though, he looked like his old self yesterday. No runs over 6 innings. Really impressive work by JL.
Yeah, no, when you're looking at the season as it goes along, Jeff, and the Pittsburgh Pirates in particular, is there any more Jekyll and Hyde team? They have runs where they go on and score multiple runs, 6, 7, 8, 9 runs, get hot, and then just disappear off the face of the earth on offense. It really is an interesting team to watch, but good for Lester. Good for Cubs overall, because you're having one of those crises where is he so bad that we might not even be able to use him in the playoffs at this point? But nice bounce back start last night. Cubs get on the right side of that game. A 1-0 win, Jeff, on a solo home run. So good pitching all around there. It's a pitcher's ballpark. So look what you got last night.
Another day, another pathetic Yankees loss. Bases loaded, no outs in the ninth inning, and failed to get a run across. Just disgusting at bats. Pathetic work. And Tanaka was actually fairly good. But the big news yesterday, Blake Snell continues to dominate. Blake Snell on a bad team. Too bad for him.
Yeah, no, the kid's a really good pitcher, man. He's really coming into his own over the past 6, 7 months overall. Coming in through the all season, getting that good hot start out there, and then you see him go on the DL for a little bit, but still come back and giving really good efforts. It's tough to pitch in the Bronx, Jeff. We see a lot of good pitchers go up there and give up those 318-foot home runs, which sends you home. And yesterday, I'm watching that game. Not really. Digging in inning by inning, but checking in, 2-0, 3-0, looks like the game's over. And then all of a sudden you check in, Jeff, and you see the bases loaded in the bottom of the ninth. And it's like, you know what? They're going to do Snell wrong. One base hit changes this whole complexion up, Jeff, and you get awful at bat after awful at bat. One of the at bats I tuned into, obviously, I believe was Greg Bird, I think, popped up to start the inning after it was bases loaded. But then you see the Gardner bat, who completely couldn't read this pitcher from the left-hand side, one of those sidewinders out there. And it's awful, and it's painful, isn't it, Jeff? Let's just say, I don't know, you had who knows if you bet the Yankees straight up, or you had a parlay, or you had a team total Yankees, whatever it is. You're saying, you know what? You get that one last effort. How many times, Jeff, have you been in a betting scenario where you already gave up on the game, then they draw you back in, and then they break your heart at the end? It's like, why did I even tune back in? I should have just checked the final score at the end of the game.
Yeah, they did that last night. People were all excited. And of course, listen, that's one of the most irritating things about baseball, when you just cannot get some. That's about as easy as it gets. You just fail to do so. Nationals beat the Cardinals 5-4 in a game that I didn't even know existed last night, because I could care less about this one. What happened in this one, Donnie?
Yeah, if I had a nice win by that 10 O'Rourke's on the mound last night, you get some. Look, both of these lineups, Jeff, when you put them on the field, Nationals and the Cardinals, man, 1 through 8, they both can hit. It's just a matter of what night they're going to get it and which bullpen's going to blow up. But a nice win last night for the Nationals, trying to hang around the NL East. Cardinals came in real hot over the past week and a half, slowed them up a little bit there. We'll see what the Nationals have because you see again today. I always like to say, Jeff, typically in there, it's Mad Max or nothing with this baseball team. Opens up, high 300s, peaked at like 415 or 420, has crept back a little bit there. But hey, Mad Max on the mound tonight. One would think an easy victory based on those numbers today coming in.
Donnie, let's do it a little different. Let's throw our heads together. Let's both go over the game here. We'll start Mets Phillies. Good pitching matchup here. Aaron Nola against Noah Syndergaard. Phillies laying
Yeah,
170, total
yeah.
7.5. This is an interesting game,
No,
Donnie. I mean, real quick, you look at the Phillies have struggled a bit against the Mets. You look at the over the last 3 seasons of Philadelphia, Mets are 15-8. Keep in mind, a lot of those teams were bad Phillies teams, but this year, Mets are 6-4 against the Phils. They've had a tough time, Phillies, against the Mets. Obviously, you got the split yesterday. One of those games was a little pathetic, though. What do you like here?
yeah, trying to take a look here. Let me take a look at some first half numbers. I mean, you have a 3.5 on the board over the first 5 innings. It's a hitter's ballpark. It's hot and steamy in Philadelphia. But when you break these two down, it's like, what do the Mets have trouble with out there? A dominant ace starting pitcher that can tie that team up. You're going to have that in Aaron Nola, one of the better ones in the league. What are the Phillies tip? Now, look, you got some imports. You got Ramos in the lineup. Roman Quinn starting to get a little bit more at bats. You have Asdrubal Cabrera in the lineup now. Justin Bour in the lineup. So you don't have that normal dumb at bat Phillies MO that you typically get night on night basis over the first half of the season. But Syndergaard is a power arm and a strikeout pitcher. Two guys that can strike you out in this one, Jeff. You have to score 4 runs. Shoot, Jeff, we've seen the damn Phillies get shut down by the likes of whatever the guy's name is, Knicks out in San Diego, who got blown up last night when the Phillies made him look like a Cy Young contender. They can go in there. And also, when you're facing Syndergaard, your at-bats have to be more crisp. When you're facing Nola, your at-bats have to be more crisp. But also, the psyche of both baseball teams. We got our hammer out on the mound tonight. Let's see if we can play a little small ball. We'll give us some outs to see if we can get a run or two home. It's a low-ass number, 3.5, Jeff, first 5 innings. But I always like to say, where are the runs coming from both of these pitchers? They're giving up.
In 11 starts at home, Nola, 7-3-1 to the under. His team is 11-0 when he pitches at home. So Nola almost unhittable.
Yeah.
Syndergaard, he's been good as well. 9 of his 14 starts have gone over the number or under the number. Yeah, look, should see a low scoring game here. I mean, Syndergaard has been terrific in his career against the Phillies. It's a low number, but the problem is it's a small ballpark. You mentioned the weather, but these two pitchers are pretty solid. I'm going to agree with you on that. Let's keep it going. Cubs Pirates. Cubs minus 137 at the Pirates. Williams against Cole Hamels. Cole Hamels has been Donnie very good since he came over to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pirates, decent against lefties. Something tells me, Donnie, this is a higher scoring game. I don't know why. Something tells me that. Something tells me that the Cubs jump on Williams a bit. Something tells me that Cole gives up a couple dingers to a lineup that have seen him before, that hit lefties okay. What do you think about Cubs Pirates?
I don't know, other than the fact that it looks like over the last month, this should be like Sandy Koufax versus Randy Johnson. I mean, who woke up Cole Hamels? Last start, 7 innings, 1 earned run. Start before that, 6 innings, 1 earned run. Start before that, 5 innings, 0 earned runs. And then let's go to Trevor Williams, who absolutely, Jeff, needs a piss test right now immediately because a month ago he starts against Washington, 5 innings, 0 earned runs. Cleveland, 6 innings, 0 earned runs. The Mets, 6 innings, 0 earned runs. St. Louis, 5 innings, 2 earned runs, which was a bad one. And then he pops back, Jeff, with 7 innings and 0 earned runs. This is Trevor Williams. Is somebody getting into his body before he takes the mound out there all of a sudden, Jeff? Both of these pitchers coming in hot. And again, you're going to play a little bit off the public psyche, right, Jeff? You say, wait a second. Let me look at these numbers from the pitcher. You can't hit them. Reverse it back one night, Jeff. 1-0, only run on a solo home run. Boy, this looks like the easiest under I've ever seen in my life, Jeff. But I know you're going to give a nice little not so fast there, right?
Yeah, I think the game's going to go over. I think both these teams. I think you're going to see some home runs given up by Cole. Listen, I don't trust Williams either. I don't know. I just kind of feeling. It's not really any statistical or trend feeling, but I just have a feeling. This is a good pitching matchup here. Freeland against Sean Newcomb, two young, high-level pitchers. Braves laying 125, total 8.5. Kyle Freeland and Sean Newcomb. Donnie, I like Freeland. I've talked about that. I like him at home, though, a lot. Braves, though, playing well. Both these teams playing well. Only concern I have for that Colorado team is sometimes they struggle to hit on the road. But look, I like Freeland more than I like Newcomb. I think you get a nice little dog price here on a Rockies. Rockies playing good baseball. Freeland has been terrific.
Yeah, after a couple of really good starts by Newcomb, Jeff, this Sunday, it wasn't this Sunday, was it? This past Sunday? I guess it was this past Sunday. Yeah, sitting on the beach watching the Atlanta Braves, Jeff. Newcomb had absolutely nothing in that game, and I mean nothing. So, you don't want to say, I'm going to just throw that last start out and say it was an anomaly because it was the start that was previous. He didn't have a bounce back start yet to say, oh, look at that. After going 3 straight games, Jeff, of going 6 innings, almost a no-hitter, and then 6 innings again with the total of 3 earned runs. He goes 4 innings, 12 hits, and 5 earned runs. Now, the Milwaukee Brewers were hot, and they were busting everything. Even the pitcher was getting base hits off him. You look for a bounce-back effort in this one, but I think you're right here. It's a younger pitcher. It's like usually, Jeff, when you get like a John Lester, let's just say he has 2 or 3 bad starts, you know what's in his head. He's been there, done that before. He can go out and have a shutdown game, which he did last night. When you have the younger pitcher, sometimes, Jeff, they're not that equipped yet to say, you know what? Boy, I hope I can bring my stuff tonight, as opposed to just getting on the mound saying, I don't give a damn what happened in the last start. I'm going to dominate tonight. That's what you might worry about a little bit. And also Atlanta Braves blowing that game in the 9th inning yesterday. So maybe a little bit of dazed and confusedness down there in Atlanta. I see your point in this. Nice little take a little dog effort, especially when a younger pitcher might have a little bit to do with a psyche tonight.
Yeah, I agree. Everyone in here, do us a favor. Like the show. Everyone in here. Hit the like button. Yes. Every one of you, hit the like button now. If you didn't, don't be a lurker. Hit the like button. One more game, Donnie, and it is a good one. I am oh my God, I am excited for this one. You got the Astros and you got Oakland. What a series this is going to be, Donnie. Out in the Big A, Oakland, California. Or the Big O, I guess it's called. Why I say Big A? Sorry, Big O. Charlie Morton and Edwin Jackson. What a pitching matchup as we set up for the first night of a big series out in Oakland. Astros 145, total 8. Donnie, do I dare take the Oakland Athletics here as a nice little dog? What do you think?
It's wild, man, because I don't know. I just want to look at Ed Lost Jackson, as I used to call him, and you think it's a little bit of a joke. Look, we just need to get a veteran pitcher in here to maybe stem the tide for a start or two to some of these young guys get in. And here we go with Edwin Jackson, Jeff. Last 3 starts, what's he got out there? About 20 innings of work and no earned runs. Jeff, this is Edwin Jackson we're talking about on a 3-game shutout streak coming into one of the most important series of the season, and he's your stopper right now. Morton, we know, is going to give a pretty good effort out there. What can we expect, Jeff? 5 innings, 6 innings, maybe 7 innings, 2, 3 earned runs at this point. It is a pitcher's ballpark out there in Oakland. You steal some outs with that big foul ball territory. But the question here is, Jeff, you're riding this Edwin Jackson tide right now. It has to give up because we've seen it where 4 innings, 5 earned runs that he's given up in the past. He's an older pitcher, but he throws a lot of balls in the dirt. He's quirky. Maybe Houston finally busted out of their offensive malaise at this point, Jeff. But it's Edwin Jackson, man. It's hard to get around.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's tough, but listen, this is a big series for Oakland. What are they, 2, 3 games back? Big series for them. I don't think it's a terrible play at home. But I tell you what, you look at this fucking crowd out in Oakland. I mean, listen. I mean, I guess we're spoiled here in this town. We love our teams and we're going to be there for them. At least we love most of our teams. I mean, you can't be there. I mean, Donnie, this team's almost trying to get in a pennant race and they have no one there. What's the story?
Yeah, say it's just a bad environment. I mean, usually I used to go to the vet back in the day in the 90s when the Phillies were good, like that 92, 93, 94 area, obviously 93 going to the World Series. And there was a bad place to watch baseball, but the vet was packed, man. It was like 60,000 deep on some of those big Braves games towards the end of the season with the Expos and all that. It was a lot of fun. I don't know what it is in Oakland, but maybe there is that overall, empathy because it's hard to regenerate a fan base. You're seeing it right now a little bit with the Phillies where they don't sell out anymore, even though they're a quote unquote, first or second place baseball team. I guess when you do your fans dirty for decades at a time and have one good season, it's hard to get that energy, but it is no excuses tonight though, Jeff. Oakland or the Houston Astros are in town. It's a Friday night. You should have a big crowd out there.
I totally agree. Donnie, the old adage is, you miss school, you miss out. And that's true on this show. If you miss school, you miss out. And I'm going to basically tell you one thing right now. I have an England championship play for you tomorrow, and I want all of you
Mm,
to opine on this as we head into the weekend. It's time to
mm.
cop the fuck up when it comes to soccer. As they say, cop the fuck up. That's what I do.
Is
I
that what they
win
say?
in soccer. Yeah, that's what I say in this household. You cop the fuck up, motherfuckers. Get down or lay down, as they say. ABM,
Hmm.
motherfuckers. Donnie, you know about ABM.
Yes.
Um, Listen, we're gonna head to the Hawthorns. The boys from Loftus Road head over to the Hawthorns, Queens Park Rangers, who are embattled currently in a financial fair play scandal, rocking the club. They can't buy any players. They don't have anyone. They take on West Bromwich Albion, the boys from Premier League, who are poised to make a return quickly. I like West Brom to beat QPR. They're at home. They're the much better side. They got to make sure they rectify the horrible week 1 loss to Bolton Wanderers. I think they come out here with a fire and a head of steam. They scored 4 goals last week against Norwich. Dwight Gale was terrific. Everybody was contributing to Darren Moore's win. Give me West Bromwich Albion at 1.7 to beat QPR. QPR, it's going to be a tough season for
No.
Donnie's boys. They are
See, I got
going
to go
down.
against you on that one.
Donnie, I think they're going down. They're not a good side. They don't have any money to spend. Give me West Bromwich Albion 1.7 to beat QPR.
Mm.
So there you go. You miss school, you miss out. That's not going to anyone but all of you. So you've getting it, you got it. You're watching
It
it, you
will
get
not
it.
be retweeted or talked about, right, Jeff?
Correct.
There you
Like I
go.
said, get down or lay down. Um, let's move on to NFL preseason. Interesting night last
Yeah.
night. Um, I heard all sorts of people telling me that the Jets are going to win 9 or 10 games, which is fucking ridiculous. Have you looked at this fucking roster? But let's start out with Green Bay. And how about this game, Donnie? 95 points in a preseason
God.
game. A lot of points in this one. Brett Hundley, Mason Rudolph, Kaiser. I mean, everyone's contributing to the scoreline. Josh Dobbs threw a pick
Mhm.
six. Uh, what a wild game here this was.
Yeah, hey man, preseason gets a little bit unhinged. I was watching a couple of the highlights there. Of course, the one you want to see is how's Aaron Rodgers look? Arm, legs, Jeff looks all there. Throws one to Jimmy Graham, which get used to that in the red zone, which we've been talking about that for a while. They're going to be a fun team to watch. But the question that we have, even when we go over the Packers, Jeff, is can that defense hold up? Because we know the offense. Just put Aaron Rodgers out there in a bunch of donuts, and he's going to be able to go out there and roll up and down the field. It should be a fun division to watch this year, but a fun one last night. Look, hey, get in, get out, Jeff. Let's get a touchdown drive going. Let's get in. No more injuries. But damn, still scored 50 points in that game. Woo.
I just don't really understand why you would bet on preseason. I don't like, especially
Who
from
had
like
the
a side
under? Jeff,
perspective.
somebody out there had the under in that game, do you think?
I'm sure someone had the under, and I'm sure someone had Pittsburgh. I mean, I don't know why. Like, what is the thought process here? I don't get it. I mean, I get you want to take an over, maybe. You just think there's going to be points, and both teams have decent backups, so they're just going to throw, like last night's Philly Eagle Patriot game. You had Brady in there for a half. Foles played. Sudfeld's a pretty good backup. Hoyer, they can move the
Yeah.
ball. So it's a game where you would think there'd be some points. Defenses aren't great. I get that, but I mean, you're literally like taking 5.5 with the Steelers. I mean, on what basis can they hang? Like, or what basis can the? It just doesn't make any sense to me. You're literally throwing the caution to the wind, in doing that. Eagles, Donnie. I thought, look, you're not going to see a ton from them. They're not throwing out the playbook. I thought the offensive line was poor. You do want to see that kind of get its handle. I mean, I thought Vaitai looked horrendous.
Yeah.
We
What
need you
happened
need
to him?
Peters in there. He looked great last year for times late in the season. Um, Look, Vaitai to me is a backup. I don't know that he's a starter in this league. You need Peters. You need him back in there. I thought the rest of the line, was, they had some issues at times, but you need Vaitai. Vaitai was brutal. He was the big issue. I thought Shelton Gibson had a good game. I think he made the team
Yeah,
last night.
yeah, yeah,
I thought he
yep.
was terrific. Matt Jones is not going to make the team. Matt Jones did not help himself in that game. Dropped two passes that were big plays. Um, I thought I thought Kamar Aiken had a poor game. Kamar Aiken had a big chance early in the game, Donnie. It was an out route out of the
Mhm.
backfield, I believe.
For a first
It could
down.
have been a big play. Yeah, Nick Foles. I
Yep.
think it was the third play of the game. Drops the ball. I mean, you can't do that when you're trying to make a football team. Rashad Davis, the young punt returner, he's gone as well. I think Donald Pumphrey's good as gone. I think Smallwood's good as gone. And I think Josh Adams is going to make this team, Donnie, as the fourth running back. How about that?
Yeah, I think they might. I think they might do one of those IRs on, those secret little rookie IRs. Like, we really like you, but we need some help, at linebacker. So we'll IR you this year, and you'll be on the team next year. Once they tried to do with Pumphrey, because you don't want to lose him to a waiver process. Because if you just cut Josh Adams outright, he's going to make another team's, practice squad or get picked up or whatever it would be. So I'm expecting one of those secretive IRs. But looking at the Eagles overall, you're right. It's very easy to break down an offensive line, Jeff. You can have all world players at all positions, but if your left tackle doesn't feel like playing, you're going to take a beating at quarterback. Or how about this? Jay Ajayi, it's preseason. It's like, look, man, I'm going to block in the regular season. Maybe I don't really want to tonight. He gets thrown out of the way. Another sack gets taken place there. And also, you're talking about timing out there, right, with Nick Foles. Who the hell is he throwing the football to? I mean, Zach Ertz is in and out, and Goddard's going to play in the football game. But when all of you, like Mike Wallace is out there, who finally got some action, you have no Aguilar, no Alshon Jeffrey, no Mac Hollins. So what? Three of your top four wide receivers are already not even seeing the field. It's hard to get camaraderie out there on what you want to do. But also in the preseason game, watching last night, Jeff, this helmet rule, it's going to be a problem. It's
Yeah.
going to be a problem because the refs can't explain what you're supposed to do. Now look, some of them are textbook, right? Where like, look, he put his head down, he made contact with the helmet. I get it. But it's not a defenseless runner. But what happens, Jeff, is what you see now is it happened twice in the Eagles game. The running back comes down the field. He sees the runner, the defender. He lowers his helmet, but the guy making the tackle, I guess, is the offender. So if he crashes into the running back's helmet, who's already lowering down the brace for the hit, why is that not offsetting penalties? I don't understand this rule.
Yeah. Now it happened last night early in that game. It's BS. It's a shit penalty. It needs to be taken away. They're not going to take it away, but it's fucking stupid.
You're right. The first one, I
Um,
think it was Rodney McLeod. Look, he put his head down, but you're in the rule of football is you have to, the low man wins, right? Is what we're always taught in football. Get your pads low, get your helmet level low, get your base lower, and you win. Like the running back's running down the sideline, he's already low. Is the NFL want you to like titty tackle him? Like you run standing straight up, like right into it? Like, I don't understand because even Jeff, when you reach your arms out to make a tackle, your head is going to go down and you're going to make contact with the helmet.
Here's the great thing though about being a sports bettor. We'll half like it, half not like it. Because
Yes.
if it goes
Yeah.
against us, I'm gonna love it.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I love that penalty. Keep throwing that flag, bro. But yeah, if it's your team or your team you bet on, you don't like it. Donnie, two things. One of about the Eagles. First of which, first half, I give credit to anyone who earned the credit because you had two teams that were putting their starters out there. It was a regular game. Yeah, it was preseason, but here's what I learned about one player last night over the course of last year and early in the preseason. Ronald Darby is a hell of a cornerback, a really
Yes.
good cornerback. And I'm very happy that this team didn't trade Ronald Darby. He's a real good football player. I think we're starting to see that with this guy. He's just really impressive.
Yeah, he'll get his hands together and he'll make some plays. But you saw last night the plays that you're supposed to make as an elite cornerback in the NFL, Jeff. The one-on-one, I'm on an island, the ball goes deep. I don't see it right away, but I turn and track the football. He actually should have came up with one of those interceptions. But you're right, gets hurt last year in the first game of the season. What, a dislocated ankle. You figured he would be out for the rest of the season. And I can't for the life of me, Jeff, because we're in the Philadelphia area and you see like some things that don't make sense. There's like a faction of beat writers that always has Ronald Darby on the trading block. And I'm saying to myself, he's legitimately the most talented corner that you have. Yes, he's not under contract after next year. You can transition tag him. You can, franchise tag him. You can re-sign him. They're always trying to get rid of this guy like he's not a good football player. I don't understand it.
If you needed one other reason to see why Eagles fans are the greatest fans in the history of sports, I'm going to give you one other more reason. What other fan base would do last night? What happened? Flying a
It
banner
was
over
like,
Gillette Stadium. describing
One
what the
last
score was
shot.
in the Super Bowl. Listen, you gotta love it, Donnie. You gotta love it. The only other, I'm not sure any other fan base would do shit like this. I just don't. It's such a beautiful sight to see, and again, why not do it? One more shot to take a little jab, and stick a little knife in the side of their ribs and say, "How about that, motherfucker? How does that
Yeah, it's
feel?"
pretty funny.
Uh, Nice, love it. Who shout out to that guy who did that? Shout out to the guy that paid $1,000 to
Spent a
do that.
grand for that. Yeah, let me just drop a grand on this just to fly it over pre-game. That's pretty good right
Not for
there.
nothing, Donnie. Like if you were given the opportunity to be like invest in that, and they were like, "Yo,
Yeah.
give you $500, let's go do this," I'd probably do it. Like I'd probably do
Yep.
that. I'd be like, "Oh, I'm good."
Well, it's pretty good.
Let's get into we're kind of short on time here. Let's
Hmm?
what other comments about the preseason, Donnie, do you want to make?
No, I'm just looking forward to this weekend. Like the one that I like is week 3 because you're going to get a good look. But the one thing I was impressed by, Jeff, was just really to me unpatriot-like. They played damn near their starters the entire first half because even that one drive that Sudfeld threw a touchdown on, Jeff, that was a full starters out there for the New England Patriots, which made it even that more impressive with some of the balls he was using. But that's one of those if you're saying like, hey, look, like you can almost use that week 17 type of theory if you know that. Because I remember me and you talking before the game, like, yo, Jeff, word on the street, Brady's playing a full half in this football game. If you can get Tom Brady just in the first half, like if you're going to bet that game, right? Forget about the second half. And you said, what? If the line is 3 or 4, what was it in the first half yesterday? -2.5, -3. And you say, you know what? I'm going to get a full half of Tom Brady out there with the starters. That's not a bad wager, though.
Yeah, and that's actually something I was going to bring up. One of the commenters, Pete Salvano, good comment here. When you know a team is sitting starters, you have great leverage on first at bets. That was obviously one of them last night. And I think when you're getting a team, that's why I made the point with the over. If you're getting a team, the two teams that are going to play starters in the first half, I mean, look at the score at halftime, Donnie. Two bad defenses. You obviously get two high level quarterbacks. Yeah, I think you're right, and he's right with that. You do if you can follow it and you have good information, and he's going to play. Why not take a shot there? I mean, you're getting Tom Brady -3, -3.5 in the first half against a Nick Foles who hasn't really done a ton and hasn't really been prepared. Yeah, I
And
think
probably
that's
wouldn't have played, regardless of the injury. He's probably not playing the entire first half anyway.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Let's get into the Jags. Interesting football team here. I think a lot of people are excited about the Jacksonville Jaguars for the first time in a long time. Doug Maroon's crew comes back, obviously off a nice playoff run. They did lose to the eventual. Oh wait, they weren't the champions last year. The runners up in the NFL. So they were the AFC second in command behind the Patriots. Look, really, the elephant in the room is Blake Bortles. You look at this team from kind of afar, and you got to be excited. You got some playmakers. I think DJ Clark and DD Westbrook are going to be DJ Chark. I mean, will be good players, good young players. Have Marquise Lee. You have a decent wide receiving crew. You obviously have Fournette, who I think is a tremendous player, and he's going to be a tremendous player. He bet on himself, and he will bet on himself, and he'll be successful. You still have a good kind of change of pace back in Yeldon. Defensively, I mean, Donnie, what do you say about this defensive line? I mean, just terrific. I mean, Marcel Darius, Fowler, Ngakwe, Malik Jackson, Campbell, Telvin Smith, Miles Jack. I mean, the front seven, Taven Bryan, you went out and got, who I thought was an athletic freak. He was one of the more athletic freaks in the draft. I mean, the front seven is just unreal. But the elephant in the room is Blake Bortles. And do you trust Blake Bortles? Can you bet on Blake Bortles? I can't. I think this just, to me, just looks like the Denver Broncos, man. Sorry, of last year. They have a lot of really good players on the defensive side. They have a pretty good offense. They just don't have a fucking quarterback. I don't trust Blake Bortles. And to me, you run the football, you give the ball to Fournette. Just, I guess, hopefully Blake doesn't fuck it up for you. I just don't trust this motherfucker.
But I mean, when it gets down to it, Jeff, this team's nasty. Like this defense is
Oh yeah,
nasty.
they
It's one
are.
of the few teams in the NFL that you can just lean on and say, you know what, this defense, Jacksonville Jaguars, as the name rightfully says so, they can get after the quarterback. And you know what, Jeff? Love the schedule. You go to the Giants week 1. You know what? Your big game Super Bowl, circle the wagon, is week 2 at home versus the New England Patriots. You don't have to go to Foxborough and beat them in their own house where they're going to turn the transmissions off on you on the sideline where you can't hear anything. And, you're going to go in the locker room and they're going to have spies and, they're going to hear exactly what your play calls are going to be in the second half. You get them at home down in Jacksonville, which should be a good one. But then, Jeff, look, Tennessee and the Jets, both at home. So you have 3 of your first 4 games at home with a very winnable game on the road versus the Giants as you open up. You go into Kansas City, which is always a tough environment to play, Jeff, but you're not going into Kansas City with a veteran quarterback like Alex Smith. You're going in there versus a Pat Mahomes. And then you have at Dallas, who's taken the step back talent-wise over the past couple of years. They'll still be tough. It's always tough to win anyway, Jeff, in the NFL on the road. But then you get Houston at home and you get the Eagles in London before your bye week. Now, when you look at the bottom of the screen, they're AFC South plus 180. It's a tough division. Wins 9, Jeff. But then you look at the second half at the Colts. You get Pittsburgh, another tough team, which you beat on the road last year. You're going to get them at home. The bigger games seem like they're lining up here, Jeff, in Jacksonville's favor in this one. 9 wins. They can get the 9 wins here. I'm looking at a double-digit win margin for Jacksonville, even though I don't like the quarterback so much. But this schedule looks like it's rating pretty well for Jacksonville.
Right, because a lot of their games are at home. I mean, that's kind of the
Yeah.
big talking point. Yeah, listen, I mean, everything about them I like. I think their defense has the ability to maybe be the best in the league. You obviously have Jalen Ramsey, who many people think is the best cornerback in football. You have a good group of safeties there. You brought in Ronnie Harrison from Alabama in the draft. Nice pick there. He could be a guy that could sit behind to kind of learn. Yeah, I think this is a really good football team. You just need, I'm going to go to Blake Bortles and say, listen, Blake, we got a good football team here. Well, all we want you to do is turn the ball over, give us, be a game manager for us. Don't try to fit it into bad spots. You just got to hope he doesn't turn the ball over a ton. But other than that, I don't think anyone will disagree, Donnie. This is a good football team. They have a pretty favorable schedule, particularly early. I like the Jags. I would take them to win this division. I think they will win this division.
Jeff brings up a good point. Scuba Steve brings up a good point out there. Why does the NFL always send the Jags to England? It's because the owner can't sell out in the past couple years at home, so he takes a really nice payout by selling his football team out and sending them to London, Jeff. Because when you look at this game, the first thing I saw when if the Eagles are going to play a tough game, it's not on the road. It's going to be in London. Now, you could say, oh, well, Jacksonville's been there the last couple of years. It's not your home crowd. It's not your home environment. Can you imagine if you're a Jacksonville Jaguar or you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan, Jeff, in this instance, and they go, hey, we're going to London this year. We're going to be a home game, but play the Giants in London as the home team. Look at what they would have had, Jeff. They would have had New England at home. They would have had Pittsburgh at home and the Eagles at home in their 3 bell cow games. But instead, your owner is selling your team like a cheap suit out there to go to England for the payday when you would have a competitive advantage by playing this football team at home in your own environment down in the heat in Jacksonville. It's a shame they're a small market, small branded, small-minded team, because if they were really about winning, their owner would fight tooth and nail to keep them out of London every single year and get that game at home now that you're a good football team.
Settle down, Donnie. He's one of the best owners.
It upsets me. Look, it upsets me. It's a good, if I'm a player for Jacksonville, I'm furious at my owner for doing this.
But again, it could be a competitive advantage because they are familiar
It's
with
not.
it. Well, listen, Donnie, their owner's English. He has connections there. Listen, it's the league. They want the fucking England games. I don't like them, but it is what it is. They do it every year. Eagles don't do it every year. So maybe it's a bit of an advantage. I don't know. But according to him, we know he's an English guy. They want to put a little show on for those people over there. I'm starting to see there is a base over there of fans that love the NFL. And yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I don't really like it, but it is what it is. But yeah, I like this team a lot. I think they win plenty of games this year. I think they get back to the playoffs for sure. And sky's the limit.
I like this team. I like it. Jeff, being everybody's provincial. You like your team, you like your home team, your favorite team that you root for. But I find myself, Jeff, because they're in the AFC, I just like the brand of football. Isn't it fun when you have a bruising running back that can just get up in there? Isn't it fun when your offensive lineman is tough, gritty, and nasty? You have a defense that doesn't give a damn about the other team who's playing. You know what? This team is garbage. Wait, this team scored 40 points last night. This team is garbage, and watch us shut us down. It's fun to watch that old school defense out there, man. Jacksonville, every time they're on, for me, is must watch. I just love the way they play football.
Yeah, it's always good to watch a
Yeah.
really good
Yeah.
defensive team. Um, Donnie, let's wrap it up. We'll wrap it up a few minutes early today. Fridays are always kind of an easy day for us here. Great talk on the NFL, fun preseason. Got a big schedule tonight on that card. Baseball as well. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern with some more baseball. We'll go over the card. I'll be on with Gabe Morency tonight, around 11 o'clock probably. We'll be talking some soccer, MLS, EPL, all sorts of stuff there. Donnie, any plans for the weekend? Any plans tonight?
No, as you know from behind the scenes, I got a pretty busy weekend going on this week. No, I don't think we're going to be making that beach. And again, I told the wife last night, she was always showing me, she always likes to joke around, Jeff, and show me like the shirts out there and say like football widow because it is coming up. I do miss my family, Jeff, from here on out all the way through to Super Bowl Sunday. But again, it's the life we chose, Jeff. There are no backing out. The wife knows exactly what I do for a living, and I'll see her next spring. We'll have a nice life together.
Yeah. Well, listen, we got IPC in a week, Donnie. That'll be fun. A lot of fun going on here to be had. Make sure you check out everything going on IPC. I'm sure we'll see some of you out there. Everyone have a great Friday day. I got to go to the fucking gym again, Donnie. Let me quick tell you, Donnie. Yesterday it was a good workout, but it's tough. I'm having tough. It's tough. I'm
Yeah, you
throwing
got to get
medicine
through the
balls in
first
the
couple
air.
weeks. You got to get through like that
Yeah.
first 6 to 8 weeks in there, and then it starts to become a routine. And then once he shows you the way, you don't need a trainer for the rest of your life. You know how to use the machines. You know how to get a nice workout in, and then you can do it at your leisure. Like you'll still go all the time, but the pressure's not there, and it gets a lot easier. But when you always have that trainer up in your face, you just have to make it through, and it's only going to make you better, man.
I hear you. Everyone have a great day. Thanks for checking us out. We'll be back tomorrow. For Donnie Rightside, I'm the big man on campus. We'll see you tomorrow, 11 o'clock Eastern here on SBO.